Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with Adult Wednesday Addams. This is a donation reward for Isabella, and it is, I guess, series of YouTube short videos centering around, well, an Adult Wednesday Addams. Now, I grew up with the Addams family, and more recently, I did give a chance to that Netflix series Wednesday. Um, and the problem with Wednesday is that it focused more on being a stereotypical teen drama than a Wednesday Addams series. It was it was more content with just kind of following all the tropes and the stereotypes with the teen drama series, and just kind of going in that realm while sprinkling in little bits of things that are like, oh, this is Addams Family, remember? It didn't feel like it was an Addams series, but rather a teen drama with that supernatural element thrown in after the thought. And that was really disappointing because it could have been great, and Jenna Ortega was great for the role for what she was given. But what she was given was not great. What she was given was honestly pretty bad. And apparently, from what I've heard, she also had to fight the showrunners and everything on a lot of stuff. There's a lot of like stuff that she didn't even want in there, and so it seems like that the series was just not going to be going well from the start. But it's it's a meme, I guess. That's pretty much all that came from that series. Nobody talks about anything else but the meme, and even that's kind of starting to die out. Um, so I don't know what this is going to be like in comparison. Obviously, it's a series of YouTube shorts, not actual shorts, but you know what I mean. Um, I don't know exactly what's going to like come from it, but there's like 6 episodes in season one and 7 in season two. We're probably just going to do them by season. So we're probably just doing season one today. Even though they're about like 3 minutes each, I just feel like that's the best course of action. And hopefully these feel more like an Addams Family thing. Obviously, with it being called Adult Wednesday Addams, it's going to have her going through adult life and stuff. And that could be good. It depends on how it's handled, how it's executed. We'll see. It depends on whether or not basically they keep the spirit of Addams Family more alive in this than something like the Wednesday series. Um, but yeah. Whew. Excuse me. Let us get this going and hope for the best. So, when the screen fades to black, pause the redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episodes. I'm calling them episodes because that's how they're listed out. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. I think the format of this is what makes it work the best. The fact that these are like 3 minute or so shorts, 2 to 3 minutes. I think that works best because I feel like a full, series, like full length series kind of thing for this would not work. And kind of for the same reason that Wednesday on Netflix didn't work. It would just it would kind of lose track of what makes it Addams Family. Um, because if you try to make this full length, like I said, it'd have the same problem as the Wednesday series, and that is it'd start to have to become too much of a standard TV drama over being something Addams Family related. Because that's just the kind of trap you fall into when you try to adapt something like the Addams Family into this kind of show. Unless you do just a regular Addams Family kind of series or something, it's going to fall in that trap of like, oh, you're trying to make an adult Wednesday Addams. Oh, you're trying to make a teenage Wednesday going to a boarding school. It's like you have to follow certain tropes with that to just kind of stay relevant. And it sucks because doing so also like puts the nail in the coffin and kind of makes your show unable to stand on its own two legs and its own identity, rather just being another stupid drama that's not good. But in this format, in this like 2 to 3 minute format for these episodes, it works because it's short little bursts, short little ideas. It's like, oh, what would Wednesday Addams be like interviewing for an apartment? What would she be like at a job interview? What would she be like being confronted by a Bible thumper in front of a Planned Parenthood clinic? There's a lot of these kinds of questions, and that's what these episodes answer. It's not even really anything with continuity. None of these have had continuity. It's just an adult Wednesday Addams doing adult stuff, for in one way or another. And the appeal here is seeing like the idea of how she would react, how she would interact, what she would do in those situations. It's not meant to be like an actual story, an actual plot line. And that very much helps it. It very much allows it to retain its identity. So, I guess we'll briefly talk about each one of these. So, episode 1 was the apartment hunt. Wednesday is, she's interviewing for an apartment with these two girls in LA, I guess. Because why the hell not? Don't know why LA was chosen, but let's be honest, LA's always chosen. But yeah, she's interviewing. The question about pets is brought up, and she has something in her bag. And that's one thing I very much like as well. Keeping it a secret, not telling us what it is, but having the bag like shake and growl and stuff. And Wednesday like beating it to shut it up. It's like, that's how you do that kind of gag for Wednesday Addams, for any Addams kind of thing. That's how that works. Sorry for all the yawning. This is my first thing I'm recording after waking up. But the second one is job interview. And so this one, yeah, she's interviewing for a job at this office. And they play out a scenario where it's like, oh, what if the wife of the boss calls? How do you interact with her? How do you basically get her to stop calling? And Wednesday basically just says it's like that if you keep smothering him, he'll smother you with a pillow, then you'll have unresolved shit that you'll be stuck here for 20 years because he's a vegan now. And it's like, okay. It works. She gets the job, apparently. Like, okay. It's like a lot. and in a good way, I mean. It's like everything she says there is very in character. Just even the way it's like slightly threatening but also is like just kind of accurate in a way to how it would work in a kind of supernatural world like this and everything, like with coming back and having that unresolved shit that makes you come back as a ghost and haunt the living and all. It's like, yeah, uh, it just came across as believable for the character, really, really entertaining. It's probably one of the best ones, I would say. Number three is Internet Date. Um, and this one was honestly one of the weaker ones for me. We have Wednesday on a date. She uh, did this um, online dating app thing, met with this guy, and yeah, she just spooks him. She talks about the fact that he can't look away from his phone, and then like brings up the entire well, actually, he brings up the suicide when it's like he's saying he was thinking she was gonna be like this suicide girl kind of thing, and she's like, I never take my life on the first date, and talks about cutting and everything, and it's just like, okay, it's like it's perfectly in character and everything. It's just it's not as entertaining as the others. And it's not just because of the suicide thing and whatnot. It's it's just not as entertaining. It's not as fun. It's not as interesting comparatively. Maybe it's just the fact that it is just this simple first date kind of situation. It doesn't lead to much interesting stuff, I guess. Oh, but number four was Dog Walker. And this one was weak at certain points, but really strong at others, in my opinion. Um, Wednesday is taking some dogs for a walk. It's called a freak, doesn't think much of it. But when this woman who's also walking her dog leaves poop on the ground, Wednesday confronts her, tells her, "Oh, your dog left this steaming pile of shit. Are you gonna pick it up?" And everything up to this point has been kind of boring, just kind of like eh. But then it like kind of it kind of goes off when the woman just becomes a Karen, a total Karen, and starts going like, "I have these hands are meant for fancy shit, for being held by Vietnamese women in washing bowls, stuff like that." And it's like she's talking in kind of like this annoying, like not really Valley Girl voice, but this kind of like high and mighty kind of voice, and she's just going at her about why she shouldn't have to do that. And so Wednesday just kind of responds by calling in the hounds. She blows her whistle to call in the wolves, scares the woman away, and just takes her dog for herself, I guess. It gets a lot more interesting once the actual confrontation starts, like really starts. Everything before that is just kind of like, I don't see where this is going, and I don't see really how this is that exciting. But once it actually kicks off, it does get good. Um, Excuse me. We also have One Night Stand, which was episode 5, which was the most unexpected one. Because it's like, I wasn't looking at the titles and everything before watching these, so I'm just going through them, like, not knowing what to expect at all. And so it's like, she wakes up next to this guy, and it's like, I'm sorry, did we just witness the aftermath of Wednesday Addams having sex? Okay. Yeah, Wednesday Addams had a one night stand with this dude, and basically the entire episode is just them talking afterwards and him trying to get her number, and her like, "Oh, my inmate number?" And it's like, This one was one of the more boring ones for sure. It was just not that interesting. It's like just again, the aftermath of a one night stand with them just chatting about whether or not they're still going to date after that. It's yeah, it's kind of boring. It's just there's not much to it. It's not that interesting. It's not as entertaining. It's just there. But then we have the final episode of the season, Planned Parenthood, and this is one of my favorites. And yes, because of the commentary. Um, so Wednesday is going to a Planned Parenthood. We don't ever actually find out why. She has an appointment. We know that, but either way, she's going there and comes across a street preacher. And yeah, I've come across these kinds of guys plenty of times in my life, at just in various cities for various reasons, and definitely during Pride events and whatnot. You see them. Um, I've, excuse me. I don't really make it a secret that I hate street preachers. Like they're always the only thing they always preach is fire and brimstone. You're going to hell. Um, Stop being gay. You're sinners and shit like that. And it's like that's one not how you're going to get anyone to join your cause. You're not going to recruit any Christians if that's what your goal is by doing this. In fact, you're going to turn people further away from the church by doing this shit. Even people who are more susceptible to your message are not going to listen to this shit. So it doesn't help your cause at all to do this. And two, it doesn't help your public image because if anyone sees you and who knows you as a person, it's like this is going to irreparably damage their view of you. Because no matter how you look at it, there's nothing positive about doing this kind of thing. It makes you look like a colossal asshole. Especially when they do act more similar to how this guy is acting. Obviously, this is a exaggeration for comedic effect. Street preachers don't usually speak in the way that he is. Like they're usually again quoting Bible verses, or they're more eloquently well put in their preaching about it. Even if they're being assholes, and yeah, a lot of times they are being assholes, but the way they word it, the way they phrase it, and everything makes it sound more like they know what they're talking about, even though they most of the time don't. So in this, he's just like goofily shouting like, "Yeah, you sinners, sinners, winners," and it sounds like a child. Um, but yeah, Wednesday comes up to him, and at first she seems like she's just kind of ignore him for the most part, and even walks past him. But then like he continues to bother her, and so she goes on this entire tirade about all the things Satan has done, all the people he's worked through, naming these serial killers and whatnot. And it's just like this is great, especially because I obviously know all of these serial killers because it's like they're pretty damn famous. Let's be honest. Whether that's a good thing or not is a different subject, but they are pretty well known. It's like there's just certain serial killers that people hear about and have heard about through various means since they were young. I learned about these serial killers when I was young, like middle school age. And you could talk all you want about how that's maybe not appropriate to tell to a middle schooler. But honestly, I actually think that kids should learn about death and murder and stuff from an earlier age because it's unfortunately a truth of our world that I feel learning about earlier will allow you to be more prepared for. Like I'm not saying like a 5-year old or anything, no. But like middle school age, like 11, 12, sure. Definitely by high school. Um and you don't have to go into all the gory details or anything like that. Just to have them know that these kinds of people do exist. But yeah, I learned about the likes of Ted Bundy and Charles Manson and whatnot. Um, just all these kinds of serial killers that that did these horrible things. And throughout the years, of course, when growing up, I would learn more about them. I'd learn about other ones too. Like, weirdly enough, I did a report in high school on John Wayne Gacy, the clown killer, um, who would murder and rape young boys and shit. I actually did a straight up school report on him. Because there's one class I don't know, like I don't remember exactly why the teacher said, but we were doing like reports on like infamous people in history, and I did it on John Wayne Gacy. I did something like that in college as well, but I did that one on Vlad Dracul Tepish, aka the inspiration of Dracula, the real life Prince of Wallachia, and all that. Um, but yeah, fun things to study as a kid, you know. But yeah, like that was like just a really fun moment. Also, just owning a street preacher in front of a Planned Parenthood is just a fun, entertaining thing to do. Um, yeah, I just enjoyed that one. I just really enjoyed that one. But yeah, overall, I think these were pretty good. Not like anything spectacular, but pretty good. There is a second season which has one more episode than this season did. So a total of seven. I will be getting to that at some point. I just don't know when. Um, we'll have to see. Just going to depend on various factors, and especially just when I end up wanting to get to it. So, but in the meantime, tell me in the comments below, what did you think of season one of Adult Wednesday Addams? Let me know your thoughts down below. And for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.